So, why is future Peter slash Daredevil a villain? And how did he become a villain? Let's talk about it.
Since birth, nigga, ain't nothing like y'all. You know I'm far from perfect, I won't lead you on. But tonight it's feeling perfect, it's your favorite song. I know that move right, I know that move right, oh, dancing the moonlight.
Now, as we all know, future Peter is Daredevil, if you haven't already seen The Rose. That is probably one of the hardest things to take in when you're watching this show, because you would never expect the future Peter, and we're not talking about time remnants here, this isn't a Flash, we're talking about the future Peter Parker is destined to become a supervillain. How does that even happen? Bro, how does that even happen? Here's how it happened. Peter Parker would face his strongest rivalry yet, which is Daredevil. Never to find out who Daredevil is under the mask. He wasn't destined to find out who Daredevil was. He was just supposed to lose to him. And that was his destiny. That was Peter Parker's destiny. But then, a little while later, around the dot, he was supposed to be... He created a remnant of himself to help him around the house, to help him do things and help him with his wife and things of that nature. Around the year 2023, he got this idea that he could somehow become throughout all of time. He was obsessed with time. He was always trying to figure out, what if I did this differently? What if I had beat Daredevil? What would have happened? And the thing is if he had beat Daredevil, we know this now. He wouldn't have known this at the time. If he had beat Daredevil, he would have changed the future. So that's what would have happened. But he didn't know that at the time. This is 2023 we're talking about. This is literally about, 4 or 5 years from now. So, so Peter is an adult. He's 20 something years old. Okay. So, like I said, he has a time remnant that's helping him around the house to help him with whatever he needs, because he's lazy and he's, always contemplating about, what would have happened if I did something differently. So that is what that was on his mind 24/7, 365. A couple days later, Peter gets this idea. He gets that idea of going throughout all of time and such and so forth. And then one day he realizes, hey, I'm a scientist. If I want to become something, I can just do it like that if I wanted to. But it would take much more than just that. So what he did was he broke into Argus. He got into the time vault and somehow was able to alter it in order for him to go to the past, present, or future of his choosing. But he didn't just want to do that. He wanted to become throughout all of time, which is past, present, future, all of it. Which means he would be there every moment, to the single air that falls, to the single drop of water that falls, to the water on the grass, to the grass getting mowed, to everything, okay? He was that insane. He drove himself mad. And then he made the events that altered himself into becoming what his future was, and that was being Daredevil. And so that time remnant that we were just talking about, that was his slave, and he used that guy to be him so that no one would ever know that he was Daredevil the whole time, including his past self. So that's what happened. But then, and everything was good. Life was good for him, and he was able to do whatever he wanted to do, go back in time, do things of that nature, and he was able to love his wife, so on and so forth. But then she found out, and then she pulled the trigger. And then after that, it changed him forever. But then he realized that in order for him to become who he is, he needed Cora to die sooner. And so he went back in time to tell his past self that he needed help to stop Daredevil. And that's how everything transpired and so on and so forth. But then at the end, obviously, our Peter won, and that changed the future. So now he's going to be good instead of evil. So that time remnant in himself, the Daredevil version of himself, they're gone. So that's why future Peter was angry, and that's what drove him mad. And that is how he became a supervillain in the future. But like we already know, that future is done with. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, be sure to share with your friends. And I'll see you guys in the not too distant future.